What's up? They say one peacemaker in a particular conflict who intervenes in order to squash any particular beef is more than enough to do that when it involves a situation where two or more are at odds with one another and they are preparing to come to blows and go to blows. So wouldn't that make sense to apply that same strategic method in widespread conflicts, such as in cases where you have countries against one another? And when you have that peacemaker who gets in the middle of it in order to, it's like, I would say, put minds at ease with such references or statements like, come on, dog, y'all can't do that. That ain't necessary. Y'all can work that out. There's another way. Hey, just sit down and chill for a minute. And then you're going to realize that it ain't really that serious anyway. And you notice that peacemaker guy is someone who is mutually liked by both parties involved or all parties involved in that conflict. And he or she is also someone that the parties involved like, respect, and appreciate. So if you have two countries at odds against one another, or just say many countries at odds with one another, in which they don't like each other flat out, then wouldn't it be smart to get a recognized, mutually respected, appreciated, and well-loved intermediator who can get in the middle and help squash that whole conflict before it gets worse? And then when something does get worse with regard to a conflict, it's like throwing gasoline on a fire. And that term is most used with regard to that. Hey, you're going to make matters worse. It's like throwing gasoline on a flame and making it grow, and you don't want that. But when you put those flames out, you calm the situation down so that whole thing which infuriates of a build will not grow and go out of control and escalate into a unfortunate situation that no one wants. Yeah, when you think about conflicts, then you think, hey, is it a way to resolve those such things? And then when you think about, hey, I can remember like growing up in situations where there might be a street fight or an impending battle between two people who are rivals at the time. And I can remember some cases it would always be a guy who would step in and be like, hey, y'all shouldn't do that. He'd get between them and separate them and hold them apart. And like, hey, just like he would give them words of the wise. And then usually both of those guys would think about it and be like, well, maybe it ain't worth it. I can sit this one out. One who just like removes himself from danger will most definitely live to fight another day or something. But those beefs were usually squashed. And it was because both parties in that struggle mutually cared for or liked the person that got in between to stop the whole thing from getting worse. And I was thinking, wow, that would be hey, they should apply that to like greater scale conflicts. And then in fact, if they did apply that to those such conflicts on a wide scale, then they would remove and prevent that. Or they would prevent it altogether. And people would be like, wait a minute, this person is a wise person and they're not talking crazy. So maybe I'm behaving unrationally, and then the other guy might feel the same way. Of course, sometimes there's no way to rationalize or stop something from happening if you're dealing with somebody who's, let's say, too far gone to reason with. But in cases like that where it comes to conflict, that usually works. Hey, it's something to think about, though.